This is the Scarcity Studios YouTube channel, and this video is sponsored by Morris Andrews Solicitors. Get in touch today for all your legal advice. I really appreciate you joining me today, and this story comes from Croydon, the first story of this episode. And thank you to Dave Nathan and Crime Scene Images for their coverage from the scene. 5 people were injured after one man is believed to have attacked them inside a warehouse in the Croydon area. There was a large response from emergency services and several fire engines that had attended. As well, there's not actually a clear understanding as to why the fire engines were there, but there were several of them. And this occurred yesterday on Thursday, the 23rd of January 2025 at 10:15 in the morning. Police arrested a man shortly after the stabbing, and they were called to reports of the attack in Marlowe Way, Beddington. And 5 people, a man in his 50s was one of them, and 2 men in their 30s and 2 men in their 20s were taken to hospital with stab wounds. Their conditions were assessed as non-life-threatening, and a 30-year-old man was arrested nearby on suspicion of grievous bodily harm and possession of an offensive weapon. He was taken to hospital with injuries himself, but they were also non-life-threatening. Police responded quickly, they said, and arrested the suspects within 1 hour of the incident occurring, and they believed that everybody in the incident was known to each other, which would imply that this may be some sort of workplace disagreement that has led to several people being injured. But thankfully nobody has lost their life, and this man has been arrested very soon after. And we'll definitely keep you updated on the outcome of his trial as we'll try to follow it and keep track. In this next story, it occurred on the 20th of January in Beddington Lane in the Croydon area also. A woman was found unresponsive inside her home. She has been aged as 30 years old, and her next of kin were contacted shortly after. 2 men, both aged 21, were arrested on suspicion of murder and remained in police custody. Chief Superintendent Andy Brittain, who led the policing in Croydon, said, "We are saddened to hear about the loss of this young woman, and we are currently supporting her family while they process this shocking news. At this early stage, we believe the 2 men were known to the woman and there is no threat to the wider public. We understand the impact this incident will have on the community, and we are doing everything to investigate the circumstances of what occurred." The latest update in this story is that a man has been charged with murder and the victim has also been identified. Larry Nimov, 21 years old, has been charged with murder on Wednesday the 22nd of January. And will appear in court on the 23rd of January. An investigation was launched by police after they were called to the address on the 20th of January at 7 p.m. on Beddington Lane, Croydon, following reports of an unresponsive woman. Officers attended the address along with the ambulance service, and despite their best efforts, she was pronounced dead at the scene. She has been named as 31-year-old Gemalatu Siwa, and she was from the Croydon area. Her family had been supported by specially trained police. So I want to send my condolences to the family of Gemalatu, and we'll definitely keep you updated on the outcome of the trial that can come from this. And of course answers as well, because we really have no idea why this occurred or what the motive was. This next story, we're still going to be staying in London, and it's about a police officer that has been convicted of serious sexual assault, and he was convicted of rape just this week. A Met police officer has been convicted of rape following an investigation by detectives. PC Samuel McGregor, 33 years old, who was previously attached to the Central North Command Unit, was found guilty on Friday the 24th of January following a trial at Inner London Crown Court. He previously pled not guilty to the offence at Inner London Crown Court on the 23rd of June 2023. Chief Superintendent Andy Carter said, "I'm sickened of McGregor's abhorrent behaviour and the pain he has caused the victim. There is simply no place for individuals like McGregor in the Met Police, and we will continue to root out such vile individuals. I'm proud of the police officers that investigated him and displayed the care and compassion deserved by the victim, as they carried out the interviews and gathered forensic evidence to show the extent of his abuse and also built a watertight case against McGregor." The court heard that the victim, who was known to McGregor, had been attacked on the 11th of May 2021 at an address in London. She confided the incident in colleagues at a later date, and they reported it to the police on the victim's behalf on the 2nd of June 2021. A misconduct hearing will take place to obviously remove him from the police force, and he was suspended from duty on the 3rd of March 2022 after he admitted lying during a police interview. So this story I thought was really important because I've not seen it anywhere. I've not really seen any publicity around it, And also it coincides with the fact that today another Metropolitan Police officer was charged with sexually assaulting 3 men and a woman over the course of 10 years. This officer, they said, he's a serving police officer and he's been charged with committing sexual offences against 3 male victims and a female victim, and he was suspended from duty in 2022, but he's only just recently been charged with more offences. Police Sergeant Lee Simmons, attached to the West Area Command Unit, will appear at Westminster Crown Court on the 27th of January, and PC Simmons was charged on the 23rd of December 2024 with assault by penetration and 5 counts of sexual assault by touching. These offences are alleged to have taken place between 2012 and 2018 against 1 victim who was male. PC Simmons was then also charged on the 23rd of December with 5 further counts of sexual assault by touching on dates from the 2009 to 2021, and 3 of them were alleged offences against another man and another woman and another male victim as well in between. All of the offences are alleged to have taken place against the victims that were known to him. So no image has been released of him yet. I'm not sure if I've covered this case before or if I can find any images. I'll try to include them if possible. But at this moment in time, yeah, it's a very vague, not very publicised story. And I think this is really important to make sure that it gets shared. In this next story coming from Sutton, a mother has been jailed for 10 years for manslaughter after her 4 small sons were left alone at home and died in a house fire. The boys were 2 sets of twins, Bryson and Kyson Hofe, aged 4, and Leighton and Logan Hofe, aged 3, and they'd been left alone at home in Collywood Road one evening in December, just over 3 years ago. A fire broke out and it would end their lives. Their mother, Deveka Rose, 30 years old, from Collywood Road in Sutton, appeared at the Old Bailey on the 24th of June 2025. She was sentenced to 10 years. The children's grandmother said this sentence marks the end of a 3-year ordeal. Bryson, Kyson, Leighton and Logan were cruelly taken from us in a senseless act of negligence by their mother. The disregard she showed towards them has echoed throughout the trial, and our family has had to endure 3 years of lies, delays and false narratives, which has been a nightmare. The toll it has taken on our family cannot be overstated, and the boys are beautiful, loving children who did not deserve to die in the way they did. Detective Chief Inspector Samantha Townsend said that Devika Cole was a mother who placed her own self-interests above the safety of her children. If she had not left the children to go shopping, she may have been able to put out the fire, or at the very least got the children to safety. The court heard that shortly before 7 p.m. on the 16th of December 2021, a passerby in Collingwood Road realised the house was on fire. They alerted a neighbour who kicked in the door in an attempt to reach the children, but the fire had taken hold of the property and prevented them from entering. Police attended the scene along with colleagues from the London Fire Brigade and also the ambulance service. Firefighters managed to bring the fire under control and recovered the 4 bodies of the boys from the upstairs bedroom. Medics attempted to save them, but despite their best efforts, they sadly all died at the scene, and one of them died in hospital. Their mother had left the boys to go shopping and returned whilst the house was on fire. She claimed the boys had been left in the care of a woman called Jade, which prompted firefighters to go back in the house to search for the woman, but no other people were found inside. Miss Rose was arrested on suspicion of child neglect the same night, and following interview was released under police bail. Post-mortem examination found the boys died from inhalation of smoke fumes, whilst detectives undertook a meticulous investigation in order to identify the alleged babysitter Jade, but detectives considered that the passerby who raised the alarm may have been Jade, but the description of the woman who alerted the police was different to the description that Devika gave to the police about the woman that she said was looking after her children. So this story is a dark reminder of the dangers that are posed if you don't take responsibility for your children, if you leave them in danger, and the risks and what can potentially happen. So rest in peace to all 4 of these boys, and I really appreciate everybody would pay respects in the comments as well, because they were far too young to have lost their lives, and they weren't responsible being as they were so young. And in this final story, a man was caught with a loaded AK47 and he's been jailed this week for 5 years. Police found a deadly automatic weapon with 30 rounds of live ammunition hidden in the cellar of Kane Clark's home in Kelsall Road, Hyde Park, Leeds, when they searched the address on the 20th of November last year, following his arrest on suspicion of unrelated offences. The AK47, the police said, was a military-grade weapon originally developed in the Soviet Union and is capable of firing at a rate of 600 rounds a minute and has an effective range of 350 metres. Clark, aged 27, gave no reply when interviewed about the weapon and was charged with possession of the weapon and also 30 rounds of ammunition. He pled guilty at Leeds Crown Court on December the 19th on his basis that he was holding the weapon for somebody else and he was not prepared to give any details. Today he was sentenced to 5 years in prison. The offences were investigated by specialist detectives from the local area to target serious and organised crime, and Detective John Graham, who led the team, said, "This is a military-grade weapon that is designed for the battlefield, and this is not something we should find in the hands of criminals in the United Kingdom. We hope this prison term deters anybody else from thinking that this was a good idea." So I really appreciate you joining me for this episode. I'll be back again very shortly with some more news. Please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe, and follow on social media as well at Scarcity Studios. Peace.